Greetings, everyone. Well, time for some more Halloween DVD reviews. What do you say? Yeah, let's do it. Well, today I've got kind of an obscure one for you. One that's actually become something of a traditional Halloween for me. Halloween movie for me every Halloween. That sounds a little better. Yeah, it was sent to me a few years ago by a longtime YouTube viewer and just extremely generous, really nice guy, Go to the Rats. If you check out Planet Beer Wagon's page, Planet Beer Wagon has actually received quite a number of packages from Go to the Rats over the years. And a while back, he was sending me a bunch of stuff. It was just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. There was some horror stuff and some anime and just all kinds of cool goodies. He was basically just sort of minimizing his collection and getting rid of some stuff that he didn't need anymore. And asked if there was anything else I might like. He just sort of had like a list of titles and put up a video saying, if you want to get any of these, just let me know and I'll send them to you. So he was already sending me a package anyway, so I thought, hey, what the heck, let's see what he's offering and maybe get a few more things. And this was one of the things that really caught my eye, because I had heard of this movie for a very long time, but had never seen it and didn't really know anything about it. And I'm really glad that I asked for it, because it's become a sort of cheesy favorite of mine. I'm, of course, talking about the classic zombie, low-budget cheese fest, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. And that's what we're going to talk about today on Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Yes, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Certainly one of the more amusingly titled zombie films. This originally came out in 1972, the year I was born. Yes, I'm that old. A mere, 4 years after Night of the Living Dead? The zombie genre hadn't really exploded yet. It was in the process of taking off. But this was sort of one of the, the big notable ones that came out of, post Night of the Living Dead that people kind of took notice of. It's an ultra low budget zombie fest. The whole thing was shot on 16mm film, and it's pretty rough in terms of the picture quality. I mean, this was an indie film from the early 70s. Shot on 16mm. This edition, the 35th anniversary exhumed edition, is actually as clean as it's ever been, apparently, and probably as clean as it ever can be. That said, it does kind of have a grindhouse feel to it because the film print itself is in pretty rough shape. But whatever. To me, I mean, that's just all part of the fun. I mean, I've talked about this before, I love the fact that horror movies just seem to benefit from that grindhouse look, the scratchy, beat-up film prints and stuff, a lot more. If anything, it makes it seem more real somehow. Almost like they unearthed. It's almost like a found footage type of thing. Like it's like they found this obscure film print of the events as they actually happened and stuff like that. Except, of course, there's a music score and whatnot. But Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things is a really unusual entry into the zombie genre. It's not sort of the typical thing where, a bunch of teenagers haplessly wander into the woods and find themselves in a cabin and get attacked by zombies. No, this one brings in a few more supernatural elements, where it's essentially one of those stories where the stupid characters have brought it on their own damn selves. Basically, the story entails a theater group who is kind of on a field trip, a nighttime field trip, sort of a team-building exercise, as you were. And the director of the theater troupe is, to say he's eccentric is an understatement, but he has a very unusual technique for how he likes to get his actors sort of into the right mindset and just experiment in improvisation and stuff like that. So they go out, and he's just kind of going stream of consciousness, like whatever occurs to him, whatever people suggest, he just runs with it. And things get really weird really fast. And he also has some friends of his, fellow actors who are kind of in costume as zombies and whatnot to try to scare them and such. And yeah, so they end up basically reading some incantations from this ancient book of evil, and unwittingly actually raise the dead. Oops. And terror ensues. Now, the thing that I find intriguing about Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things is that when you sort of look back on it after watching it, you think, like, so many things in that movie just didn't make sense. Like, the way the characters behaved just wasn't logical, and blah, blah, blah. And you know, it's very easy to go back and sort of analyze it and say, like, there were some things in there that just were weird. But while you're watching it, you just kind of go along with it. You don't really pay it any mindset. You just kind of get caught up in the stream of consciousness aspect of this crazy theater director and how his companions just kind of either go along with it or basically tell him he's fucking nuts. And they just go, you just go from there. You find yourself going along for the ride and you don't really question it. Yeah, it's a very strange experience, and I think that's why I've kind of latched onto it as a Halloween favorite, is because it's an unusual journey of a zombie movie, and one that I really enjoy. And a lot of the actors in it, I don't know that a lot of them sort of went on to continue acting. I think some of them did, but they're just very likable actors, and I think that's one of the things that's also kind of refreshing about it, is it's a lot of unfamiliar faces, but unfamiliar faces that aren't really bad actors. You know, I mean, there's a cheese factor to it, to the acting and the characters and whatnot, just because it's a low budget horror movie. But you know, it's not as bad as a lot of other low budget horror movies I've seen. I mean, these are actually pretty competent actors for the most part, and you know, just kind of throw themselves into their roles, which is a lot of fun. A couple of things worthy of note: the two aforementioned characters who dress up as zombies represent one of the earliest attempts on screen to portray gay characters positively, and they actually got a lot of accolades for that, because you know, prior to that, whenever you'd see a gay character in a movie, it would basically just be kind of played for laughs, or just, you know, a bunch of gay jokes or whatever. But in this case, it's done very tastefully, I think, and notable because it's such an early film, where you didn't see that very often in films. And yeah, so I mean, the two gay characters are just, you know, a couple guys that they know who just happen to be gay, and yeah, they do have some funny lines and whatnot, but I mean, it's not like their gayness is being played for laughs, as it were. It's just kind of who they are, and that's that, and it's no big deal, and it's quite nice to see that not everybody thought so backwards back in the day. The other thing worthy of note is who the director is of this film. It's directed by a gentleman named Bob Clark, who you may recognize if you're a fan of, well, if we call this his Halloween movie, if you're a fan of a certain Christmas movie that he did a few years later, a little one called A Christmas Story. Yes, this is by the same guy who did this. Who would have thunk it? That just blew my mind when I saw it. I mean, who would have thought the guy who did A Christmas Story also did, like, you know, sort of cut his teeth doing a cheesy zombie movie? I mean, that's awesome. So I guess just to quickly give you the rundown on the edition we have here, this is as I say, the 35th anniversary exhumed edition from VCI Entertainment, not to be confused with BCI Clips. Just nice disc art there, no insert. There's a couple of releases of this. This, I think, is the first release. There was a second release with slightly different cover art, but I believe all the same content. I don't think the film print's been cleaned up any more in the other release than it is in this one. So in terms of special features, there's actually quite a lot on here, and I'm kind of ashamed to say I haven't really dived into the extras yet. There's a lot of stuff here. I looked at some of the stuff back when I first got it. Such as there's an all-new commentary track with Alan Ormsby, Jane Daly, and Anya Cronin. They are three of the principal actors from the movie, which is pretty cool. Memories of Bob Clark, a tribute to the late director. Yeah, he actually passed away a few years ago, so sadly never got to see, you know, his zombie movie become this sort of revered example of the genre that it has since become. A Grindhouse Q&A, Confessions of a Gravedigger, Photo Gallery, Dead Girls Don't Say No music video by the Dead Things, Cemetery Mary music video by the Dead Things, a tribute video to Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things by Freak 13, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things trivia, and Alan Ormsby bio, and the original theatrical trailer. So, quite a nice edition, actually. If you're a fan of the film, I definitely recommend checking it out. I think you can find it fairly cheap nowadays, and as far as I'm aware, it is still in print. If not this edition, then the later edition. Yeah, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. A very unusual beast, but a lot of low-budget zombie fun. Alrighty, that is it from me to you for now. So until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.